Good evening, everyone. This is the December 14, 2022 meeting of the Urban Conservation Commission. This open meeting is being operated under a hybrid format pursuant to Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. So the public can join the meeting remotely by telephone by dialing 1-408-650-3123 and then dialing an access code 942-845-549. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners and are available on the town's website, and the public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission. And I'm going to do a roll call of our members before we proceed this evening. Tom Fallon.
Here.
Patrick Cunningham.
Here.
Megan Langley.
Here.
Catherine Nordberg.
Present.
Christopher Carey.
Here.
And then also town officials participating, Tim Pratt.
Here.
Okay. I will state on the record that Michelle Koras is not here this evening. She had another engagement. Apparently more festive than this one, so she's not here tonight. This meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. I don't know that we're going to have any remote participants, but if there are applicants participating remotely, I'd ask them to state their names and address. And having said that, the first item on our agenda was the 7 p.m. public hearing, Logan Huffman, a notice of intent for a portion of Washington Street, Route 20, and that is regarding grading, paving, striping, and utility work. I had a conversation with Travis Brown from Turning Point this afternoon. Apparently, Turning Point did get or has received the DEP file number, but in addition to the file number, they also received a number of questions from DEP relating to the proposal. We thought it best that since DEP is going to be looking for a response from Turning Point to those questions, that this meeting or conducting the meeting this evening would not be productive. So we agreed that we would continue that matter to our next meeting, which will be on January 11th. So we have a few minutes before our next public hearing at 7:10. I'd like to go to the requests we've received for certificates of compliance. So the first one is 335 Leicester Street. I think we made an inspection of that property. The problem is that the applicant has not provided us with an as-built plan. They did provide us with a plan from 2007 in connection with the notice of intent that was filed at that time, but no as-built. So since our order of conditions did require an as-built and none was provided, I would submit that we should continue this matter to our next meeting and send a notice to the applicant that we will need an as-built plan. The next item is, and this has come up before, between 39 and 78 Prospect Street, which is Hilltown Farms Estates. I think what the applicant is trying to do here is to submit or obtain a certificate of compliance for the entire subdivision. They did not provide us with an as-built plan. We actually issued an order of conditions for this project back in 1999. I don't remember, but I was on the commission at the time. I remember certain aspects of the project, actually. And in good conscience, I think given the fact that they apparently want us to give them a blanket certificate of compliance for the entire subdivision without making any sort of presentation, I'm not inclined to do that. I think a letter needs to be sent to the applicant, which is, and actually it was filed by the firm of Fletcher, Tilton, and Worcester, and maybe advise them that that given the lack of information and the absence of an as-built plan, we can't proceed unless they provide us with further information. So, I mean, I understand it's an unfortunate circumstance, but you know, they've waited 23 years or 22 years to request a certificate of compliance, and I think they've got to do something to provide more proof that the work that was done is in compliance with the order of conditions. For 10 Rotary Road, this is the DeFutis property. Mr. DeFutis did provide us with an as-built plan. A number of members of the commission went out when it was warmer. I think we went, what, in August or September? The plan at that point, or strike that. The work at that point was substantially complete. And again, I think members of the commission are well aware of the history of that project. But the as-built plan that was submitted, based on my review, complies with the conditions on site. And so I will entertain a motion if someone wants to make a motion regarding the issuance of the certificate of compliance.
I make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 10 Rotary Road.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. And then the next item for a request for certificate of compliance was a project located at 883, 889, 893 South Bridge Street and 20 Hill Street. And this is a project where we had actually issued an order of conditions, but the work was never done. And so under the regulations, we can issue a certificate of compliance for projects that are never started. And so having said that, is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for that project with the understanding that no work was ever done there?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.
Sorry.
Okay. We still have a couple minutes. For 103 Tinker Hill Road, Mr. Fallon and I went out to the property last weekend, and we walked the site. We approached it from Albert Street, and it's a huge site. We walked it extensively. We looked at the siltation and erosion control measures. And based on my observation, I know that the owner of 103 Tinker Hill Road thinks that the work exceeds what was permitted. Again, what my focus was on whether or not the work that was being done there complied with our order of conditions with respect to the installation of erosion control measures, which it appeared that they were all in good condition. And so based on that, I couldn't determine that the work that was being done there violated any aspect of our order of conditions. And so perhaps a letter can go to the owner of 103 Tinker Hill Road, advising him that of what our conclusion was, and he may have recourse, but for reasons other than, or for issues other than what are within our jurisdiction. So if someone wants to make a motion to issue a letter.
Make a motion to issue a letter to the concerned party at 103 Tinker Hill.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. And then for 23 Brook Street, we had advised the homeowner that they needed to file a notice of intent. I'm presuming, Tim, that we haven't received anything from them.
We have
right?
not.
So I think, again, we need to send them a letter, and I think we need to give them a deadline to submit the notice of intent for the work they were proposing for their backyard. So, and I guess the question would be, what date do you want to give them for as a deadline?
When's our next meeting?
January 11th? But it's, the holidays.
Right.
How about the end of January?
60 days? Or,
Be like 45 days?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that seem reasonable? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we issue a letter to the 23 Brook Street with the deadline of the end of January.
To file a notice of intent. Okay.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. And then under other business, there was, I think, some confusion regarding the order of, the certificate of compliance for Lundgren Honda? Lundgren at 163 Washington Street. I think the request came in as a partial certificate of compliance when in fact the applicant is looking for a complete certificate of compliance. We knew there were some issues there. They were corrected, had to do with the reinstallation of a rain garden. and just some general maintenance issues, that those items were taken care of. So is there a motion regarding the issuance of a complete certificate of compliance for 163 Washington Street?
Make a motion that we issue a complete certificate of compliance for 163 Washington Street.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. All right. Wow, not bad. Okay, the next item on our agenda is a 7 to 10 public hearing, Nordic Industrial Properties LLC, in care of Foley's Collision Center. It's a notice of intent for property located at 12 and 14 Sword Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. And is someone here on behalf of Nordic Industrial Properties?
Yes, indeed.
Well, please come up.
Thank you, Steve. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ron Mendez. I'm from Graves Engineering. Here on behalf of Nordic Industrial Properties for the proposed project at 12 and 14 Sword Street. The project proposes to demolish 2 existing buildings on the property. Note that the property is already developed. There are about 5 or so buildings that are primarily used for industrial purposes. In conjunction with the buildings, there's also paved parking and a paved driveway. The project itself proposes to demolish 2 buildings, again, those being an existing single-story residence and a detached garage. In the place of in the place of those buildings, a 60-foot by 60-foot building will be proposed, and as well as a 60 by 100-foot building addition. The addition will actually be located towards the rear of the property. Along with these buildings, the existing parking will be increased. There are about 70 parking spaces located already, and we want to increase it to about 85. And as also as part of the project, stormwater mitigation improvements or management improvements are proposed, particularly with the construction of a bioretention area located towards the rear of the property. This rain garden really will have 2 culverts that terminate at the existing intermittent stream. The stream is actually located towards the western side of the property. Now, within this area, please note that the existing intermittent stream has, bordering vegetated wetlands. So, in light of that, actually, there's also the existing buildings and, portion of the existing buildings and the paved parking and driving areas are already within the 100-foot buffer. As for work anticipated, a lot of it will be within the 100-foot buffer because that's where the work area is. Like the building that we're replacing are within the buffer. As for work within the 25-foot buffer, it will primarily be the construction or the installation of the 2 culverts that originate from the rain garden. In the actual wetland itself, it would be the installation of the riprap apron located at the end of the culverts. Other than that, no other work is anticipated within the wetlands. Within the 25-foot buffer would be like the incidental work that that occurs with the repaving of the area. The existing acre pavement kind of goes hand in hand or aligns with the 25-foot buffer. So in some portions where it's already paved, we're simply going to repave it, and again, that's incidental work that would occur within the 25-foot buffer. I think that's probably it for the most part. If there would be any questions, I might be able to answer.
Tim, could you do me a favor? Could you pull up the Google map? I'm just curious to see like where it is as far as location. It might be a lot easier to...
I believe it's at the end of Sword Street, closest to Boyce.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in that area.
If I'm coming onto that from Boyce, what would it be, on the left or the
Taking
right?
a left,
Left.
yeah.
Left side.
No, I mean, would it be on the left side or the right side of?
Right side after you take a left, is that accurate?
Right side, yes.
Okay, all right, I know what it is.
Could you point out on here where the 25-foot buffers are?
Sure thing. There's a line much
The
more or less
thick line?
that says W25.
Oh,
I can
okay.
show you
That's
if you
it.
like.
And so the stream is running here?
Yes, about
Okay.
30 feet to the west of it, more or less.
Okay.
The bio
So-
retention,
No, go ahead.
the bio retention garden, its drainage area covers most of the impervious surface that is made by the driveway. and-
Yes, it has been designed to accommodate the runoff that's proposed from all of it, pretty much.
We'd like to take a look,
Sure, of course.
and, I mean, when are you proposing to start the work? Are you gonna wait until the spring, or what's the plan here, if you know?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
Okay. And just in looking at this, is the building closest to Source Street, is that going to be an administrative building? And then will most of the work in terms of what Phil does for business, will that be the building in the rear?
My understanding is that there are two independent buildings.
Right.
Not really like an office area here and a work area here.
Uh-huh.
My understanding is that the first building, let's say towards closest to Sword Street, will be an independent. Will be independent of the rest of the buildings, and again, the addition will probably be something else altogether.
Okay. But both owned by the applicant?
Yes.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, how you doing? Josh Fuller.
Oh, Mr. Fuller, hello.
How are you? I manage the property for the two principals, the two owners of the property.
Okay.
So they've had several anticipated interest in additional commercial and industrial space in the area. So the fact that Fuller's Collision Center is attached is just because I manage the property for them. So all documents were sent to me.
Okay,
At this time, we don't have any plans to put any type of body repair over there.
okay.
It's more so right now, it's just industrial and commercial space.
Do you, is your intention to put in additional buildings, or just stick with the two buildings?
No, right now it's just the two buildings. The front building is going to be more, so both buildings are designed to have overhead doors, so there will be oil water separators.
Right.
There is a portion of our business that involves calibrations, which is not vehicle repair. It's more the calibrations of software of vehicles after they've been in a collision. There is a potential opportunity to house some of that in the front building, and that's setting up of targets and aligning the cruise control, adaptive cruise control, the sensors and things of that nature,
All right.
which we're currently doing. But that is just one of the options that's proposed to the two principals.
Okay.
So
And what's your timetable in terms of construction?
there isn't one right now.
Okay.
It's pretty much optional at this point.
All right. I mean, we always take a look, and, I mean, I think the weather this weekend is kind of iffy. I don't know, because we may be getting some snow.
How about Friday afternoon, 4:30?
I'm gonna say no. That's right. So, I mean, is this something that can wait until, till January?
Absolutely.
Okay. So my suggestion would be that, I'm trying to think. The first Saturday in January, I think, is January 7th.
Yes, that's correct.
So can we just plan to meet at the property on January 7th at 9 a.m.?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good. And we therefore have your permission to continue this matter to our next meeting on January 11th?
Absolutely.
Okay, terrific. Okay. And is there a motion to continue the public hearing for Nordic Industrial Properties to January 11, 2023?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Do we have any, anything on currently for our meeting on January 11th?
Nothing new.
The,
We have Logan Huffman.
yes.
So
Yeah.
why don't we keep it on for 7:10 then on January 11th?
Okay.
All right. All right, and do you have any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, so we will plan to meet you on Saturday, January 7th at 9 a.m. And then our first meeting next year will be on January 11th. All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Is there any new business? If there is no new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. All right, everyone.